Hey friend, I heard you've been dealing with some acid reflux and you think coffee might be one of the culprits. I've been there myself and I want to share with you my experience of shifting from coffee to tea. Now back when I lived in Taiwan, I was still a coffee drinker. One of my passions while I lived in Taiwan was studying Mandarin Chinese, and I would study in coffee shops. Sometimes I taught English, and I even had an English student who would make me coffee during our lessons. At that time, I was training intensively in traditional Chinese martial arts. The workouts were tough, and I started to experience severe acid reflux after each workout. It was so bad that after training, I couldn't do anything but curl up in a ball and wait for the pain to pass. It was around that time I met an acupuncture expert who also loved tea. He brought me closer to both acupuncture and tea, and after a few months of just drinking tea and getting acupuncture treatments, my pain, my acid reflux, completely went away, and I was able to train hard without discomfort. The good news, you don't have to give up coffee forever. It was just a period of healing that needed to happen. Even now, as someone deeply involved in the tea world, I still enjoy coffee occasionally. So if you're thinking about switching from coffee to tea, here's what you need to know. Number one, the type of tea matters. Not all tea is created equal. Avoid tea bags. They tend to be lower quality and slightly more acidic. Instead, go for loose leaf tea with a naturally low acidity. Skip the strong breakfast blends like English breakfast and Irish breakfast for now. Here are 4 tea options that will work really well for coffee drinkers. First, we have this roasted, really heavily roasted oolong. This is rich and full body. So a lot of times coffee drinkers like that type of flavor. Something like a really traditional or heavily roasted Iron Goddess of Mercy, or in this case, the Golden Dragon. This oolong here, it's basically an Iron Goddess. It's processed like an Iron Goddess of Mercy, is rich, roasty, and very full body. Next is a High Mountain Green Oolong. In this case, this is the Buttercup Oolong. This is a really good option if you like milk in your coffee. This is something that has a really buttery note, and it's quite extraordinary in terms of that fresh brightness. It's smooth and it's floral, but it's still very satisfying. Here we have a high quality black tea. This is more whole leaf and it's not so broken. It's rich, it's malty, and it's pretty smooth. The acidity is still relatively low. This is the Eugene Breakfast, and if something like this is still a little too acidic, you could switch to a Taiwanese black tea. This is bold and malty, and it's a great morning tea. The next one is a cooked pour. Now, cooked pour is a fun alternative for coffee drinkers because when you brew this tea, it brews up just as black as coffee, but it is completely different in the flavor. It's more smooth, it's more earthy, it's not acidic, and it's just very good for digestion in general. Added benefit of cooked pour is it actually has naturally occurring statins in it, so it can lower your cholesterol. Switching to tea doesn't happen in a day. It took me about 3 months to fully adjust. And during that time, I experimented with different teas to find which ones worked best for me. So now, let's talk about how to brew the tea really easily. Grab your favorite mug, get a strainer, add 5 grams of tea, and add your boiling water. Go ahead and let steep for 3 to 5 minutes. When it's done, you can remove your strainer, then you can re-steep the tea for a second infusion, adding more water. Steep and re-steep throughout the day. So what does it cost? For a tea like the Eugene Breakfast here, it's going to cost about 97 cents per session. That's 97 cents for about 3 12-ounce servings of tea. For the cooked pour, in this case the cooked beauty, this is going to cost you $1.40, again for 3 servings of tea. For a high-end black tea or a high-end oolong, it's going to cost you about $3.86 per session. And for something like this High Mountain Buttercup Oolong, well, let's just see here. 14 divided by 28. That's going to cost you about $2.50 per session. So if you're serious about making a switch, I've put up a coffee conversion kit on our website. It's got the teas we talked about today, and it's going to help you make the shift from coffee to tea. It's up on my website, and I'd love to help you find the tea that works best for you. This switch changed my life, and it could change yours too. Let's give it a try.